This is MT with MT's Daily Poppin pills, and we got a good one tonight for you. It's about heart disease and visceral fat and metabolic syndrome and all kinds of little things going along. I'm going to try to explain some things to you because it's really important to me that I get this word out, because I'm a person that's had 4 heart surgeries, 6 stents put inside in my heart, and I'm not claiming to be a victim. Matter of fact, that's the worst thing you can do. I'm here to tell you that we can change our ways about doing stuff. And we're going to have a little conversation about that tonight. But, you know, when I first had my first heart surgery, the doctor told me, Mark, you have a very big heart, but a big heart is not what you need. You might be a big-hearted person, but you know what? Your heart needs to be about as big as your fist, and mine was almost double the size. He said you get 4 to 6 years probably to live after that first one, where they actually put in 4 stents in my heart. And it was a really eye-opening experience. Thankfully, I had Dr. Grazikowski. She's a chiropractor. She's also my partner, my wife in life. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I'd be here, but her to guide me along and explain things to me, because I grew up in a family where my mom was a nurse, my sister was a nurse, my brother was a nurse. So they were all nurses, and they all believed in that medical doctor, the medical way, that, you know, that all that stuff. And I did too. I did the same thing, but I've changed the way I think about a lot of things today. But I wanted to let you know that heart disease is so prevalent because 11.2% of Americans today have heart disease. Now, it does get steadily worse as you get older, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But that's true. But what's really scary is the amount of young people today that are getting heart disease and other things, as far, you know, the diabetes and so on. And there's a lot of things that are happening out there, and I want to cover all that, from the food and so on. So let's start out. I want to explain to you guys a little bit more about what visceral fat and the metabolic syndrome is, okay? But first, let me pop a couple pills. By the way, I hope you guys noticed, this is actually Roman Provence tea. Really good. It's a great tea. It's fruity. If you're not a big tea drinker, this is the way to start out. Roman Provence. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh. Now I'm getting stuff all over my papers and all over the table here. All right, what do I do that? I just wipe it on my pants. We'll get that later on. All right, let's move on though. Hopefully I didn't, oh, well, we'll just have to go on with this. Anyways, we're here to talk about about a thing called visceral fat and how it affects our bodies. So we have to imagine our bodies like a superhero inside. You have special organs like your heart and stomach, which are so super important for keeping you strong and healthy. But I want to talk about what visceral fat is. Because, you know, visceral fat is a type of fat that's hidden inside your body, around these important organs. It's different from the fat you can pinch on your arms or on your tummy. That's external fat. But hey, so we got to think of visceral fat kind of like a pillow, or what I'd say a pillow. But a pillow, it's like the stuffing inside of a pillow. You know, when you have a little bit of stuffing is good because it makes the pillow feel comfortable. But if you put too much stuffing in there and it makes it too hard, the pillow gets too full and it isn't very comfortable anymore, right? I mean, that's what's happening inside. You get too much fat and stuff like that build up in there. The visceral fat around your organs starts strangling. It starts getting harder. You see those guys that have really hard belly, but they're big? That's the visceral fat that we're talking about. I know because I had it. And I work on mine. I'm still trying every day to keep mine down. That's why I turned to the blood type diet. I'm an A positive, but it's really helped me out and changing the way I feel. I don't have any inflammation, but that's for another day. Anyways, but it's the same with visceral fat, but a little bit is okay to have a little bit, but too much can really be a problem. So making your organs unhappy. When there's too much visceral fat, it can make your organs unhappy. It's like if you had a backpack full of rocks, right? It would be hard to move around, right? If you think about a backpack full of rocks, how hard it would be. It doesn't matter how big you are, after a while carrying that stuff around, it's gonna get harder. It's kind of like people that have low back pain. A lot of times, especially at the clinic, we'll say, well, all right, grab your belly and just hold it up. They go, oh, yeah, okay, I feel better now. Well, think about it. That's all that visceral fat inside your belly hanging down if you're overweight and have that problem, in which, obesity runs rapid in America. So, but when you have too much visceral fat, it makes it harder for your organs to do their job. But we have to ask about metabolic syndrome, because sometimes when people have a lot of visceral fat, they can get something called metabolic syndrome. This means having problems like high blood sugar and other things that can make you not feel so great. But, we can talk about all the problems and all these things like that, but we got to ask, how do you stay healthy, right? How do we stay healthy? And that's a big thing I've had to do. And one thing I want to say is that when you start to get healthy, it's kind of like being an alcoholic or whatever. We're addicted to these foods, and we'll talk more about that with all the sugars and salt and stuff, all these fast foods and stuff like that. But you try to keep on a lifestyle change, and if you fall off the wagon, you know what? You just get back up and start riding again. You fall off the horse, you get back up and ride that horse again. That's what we got to remember. Don't be hard on yourself, because depression and stuff like that can be also contributing to that metabolic syndrome, which leads to the visceral fat, which leads to the heart disease and coronary heart disease and all the rest of the stuff, right? So there's a lot of things out there. What we need to do: eat healthy foods, right? That's what everyone people are going to say is eating healthy foods. Well, what kind of foods, right? So we need to start eating more fruits and vegetables and foods that aren't too fatty or sugary. And this is a great way to keep that visceral fat in check. Other thing is, you got to be active. You got to be, either playing outside, riding your bike, go playing sports. All this helps burn off fat. Swimming, cardiovascular things is one of the best things, like doing the elliptical or the arc or a treadmill if it's wintertime and stuff like that. Or snow skiing, or cross country skiing. Pumping weight is great. That's a little bit different, but our body needs to have that. You only can burn off the fat by either sweating it out or breathing it out, and unless you got some other, or peeing it out and stuff like that. That's what you can do. But we need to have, besides being active, we need to start getting healthy, happy habits. Getting enough sleep and not stressing out too much are also important for keeping your body healthy. If you're only sleeping 3 to 4 or 5 hours a night, that's contributing to what you're doing, and it could be leading to a lot of different problems. So we want to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, every night. Boy, I really got this paper really wet, didn't I? It happens. So remember, you got to take care of your body. Is kind of like taking care of a superhero. You are a superhero. You want to keep it strong and ready for action. But we have to really start asking, though, what is the relationship between fast food consumption, marketing practices, and heart disease? But this is so complex, and it's a multifaceted issue. But I want to break it down into some things, right? But one thing is, when you go to the grocery store, if you shop for your own foods, if you notice, all the processed foods are all in the middle. All the chips, all the candies, all those boxed up, all those things going, the macaroni and cheese, all that stuff is all the carbs are all processed. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And I'll probably talk about this in a couple seconds, but I want you guys to remember, if we just ate one carrot back at 50 to 75 years ago, had so much nutrients. But today's carrots, you need 4 to 5 carrots to equal 1 carrot. And we'll talk a little more about that. But the big thing is, when you go to the grocery store, you got to start staying to the outside. Buying those pineapples and apples and fruits and vegetables, squash, zucchini, broccoli, carrots. Start getting more of those things. And people, I don't like. But you know what? You have to make a choice, because the number one person that cares about you is you. Right? But anyways, what's fast food and heart disease? Well, there's a well-established link between the consumption of fast food and the increase in cardiometabolic disorders, including heart disease. Fast foods are often high in unhealthy fats, sugars, salt, and these are contributing to the development of heart disease. But one thing that we don't talk about is who's responsible for a lot of this and what happens. And a lot of this comes from the influence of marketing. Fast food companies exclusively market their products, often targeting young and influential audiences. This marketing can influence preferences and eating habits, contributing to unhealthy dietary choices that can also increase the risk of heart disease and other health issues. Remember, these companies don't have your best interest in mind. And don't tell me how they have salads and everything else. But you go to the Chick-fil-A line, it's around, it's out in the parking lot. You go to I still see the McDonald's and the Wendy's, and there's a reason why Papa John's and all these guys are doing so well. Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. Why? Because it's cheap processed food going inside of you, and you might not feel it today. But listen, you're talking to a guy that used to eat Burger King 4 to 5 days a week when I traveled. I used to be a traveling salesperson, traveling recruiter. And guess what? It was easy for me to get a Burger King in the morning, get me a sausage for sandwich with those little rounds, and I'd get a glass of orange, or not glass of orange juice, some oranges, but I preferred what? The orange drink. And then it was uncommon because I'm so busy, I'm driving every day, going to high schools and talking to people every day. I'd have lunch. What would I do? My favorite choice? That Whopper with cheese with onion rings? Yeah. And then I'd get a shake. And then nighttime, what would I do? Well, I might change it up and go with a chicken sandwich and fries and probably a soda to wash it down, because that shake would be too heavy at night. But there's some desserts added in there too. And that wasn't uncommon. I'm the first one to stand up and say, I was that person. I remember when I got on the scale when they weighed me before my first surgery. I was 318 pounds. Now I'm 6'3". I'm a pretty tall guy. As you can see, I have pretty wide shoulders. But you don't need to be over 300 pounds. And all that weight is in that belly. So the marketing is a big deal. But there's a lot of, and so with marketing, we have to start asking about corporate responsibility. Large corporations like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Wendy's, and that, they're criticized for their role in promoting unhealthy eating habits. And there is a growing call for these corporations to take more responsibility in promoting healthier choices and reducing the marketing of unhealthy foods. But when you got McDonald's, the French fries, they had salt and sugar, and you think about it. The salt is a flavor enhancer, and the sugar just makes you crave more, right? Sweet and tasty. And that's why you get those. Once you get off those foods, it's amazing when you go back and how salty and sugary they are. And you go, wow. A lot of it even tastes just like cardboard, because they're not putting the best ingredients in there. They're not looking out for you. They're looking out for who? Their bottom line. And their bottom line is your waistline. And the more we can get addicted to that, the better for them, right? Gotta pop some pills. By the way, this Roman Provence is really great. But here's the food quality. We got to compare today's food quality with that of 50 to 75 years ago. And there are significant differences. Modern food production often involves more processing, additives, and preservatives. Why? You got to get that fruit from somewhere else, or they got to freeze dry it, or they put it in your cereal or stuff like that. Think about how processed it is and how much preservatives. Start reading the labels, and you'll find out. If you can't understand the words on there, should you probably be having it? That's why you see me cooking every day. I try to put something out for you guys to show you it's just basic. It's all basic stuff. Use some good, healthy, organic spices, olive oil, and it's not about having this extravagant meal. Those meals taste so good. I don't put any salt or even pepper in my stuff. I use as you can know when you watch me cook, Italian seasoning, my pizza one, I have that Mediterranean seafood rub, things like that. So we can't count on the corporations to make us healthy. It has to be you. But so the food quality is really, but there is a shift towards, trying to get more people to get better. But the shift towards convenient foods and away from whole foods has also been noted as a contributing factor to declining dietary quality and related health issues. It's kind of like when you go to the gas station and put that gas in your car. Let me ask you, do you ever go inside the convenience store? Yeah, Tell me what's healthy in that convenience store. The sandwiches, the hot dogs and the rollers, all the chips. I know I was there. Like I said, I traveled. It wasn't uncommon for me to fill my truck up with gas, go inside and buy some Cheetos and some popcorn. And then you got all these things as well. You got driving, you're by yourself, and pretty soon I'm eating all this stuff salty and stuff like that. Well, I need something to wash that down with. What better than a soda or something like that, or a Gatorade? Don't think Gatorades are healthy for you. Those things are some of the worst products you can put inside your body. But food quality is huge. But one of the things that we got to talk about, big ag and pharmaceutical. They go hand in hand. And if you don't think so, look around. You know who some of the biggest drug dealers in the world are, or the biggest drug dealers are? Your medical doctors, right? I mean, you think about this. The agricultural industry has evolved to prioritize efficiency and yield, sometimes at the expense of nutritional quality. Sometimes, it's almost all the time. Additionally, there's a complex relationship between the pharmaceutical industry and health, where their focus is often on treating diseases like heart disease rather than preventing them through dietary and lifestyle changes. I know when I had my first heart surgery, and after that, for the first 3 years, I was on 10 meds. 10 pills from the pharmaceutical. Because why? I had to take these because I was going to die, they said. But what happened is I started losing who I was. I mean, those statins really messed with my body. My muscles would ache. And of course they said, no, don't worry about your diet. Just keep on doing what you're doing. They didn't say anything. And this is my cardiologist. All right, just take these pills, you'll be fine. Once a day. You just got to take all these different pills, you'll be fine. Until there was a day I woke up, I didn't even know my name. That's the day I decided I needed to go out there. Because once again, I got a doctor living with me in the house saying, hey, something's wrong with you. There's really wrong. And we did all the research, figured out. And now today, look at me. I'm only half of a blubbering idiot than I used to be. So, I don't have a lot of pills left here. We got a handful left. But in summary, the epidemic of heart disease is closely linked to dietary habits influenced by fast food consumption and aggressive marketing strategies. The change in food quality over the decades and the role of various industries in shaping our eating habits are crucial factors in this complex issue, right? And there's a growing need for a shift towards healthier eating habits and more responsible marketing and food production practices. So, I got to ask some questions. So it really is about you and only you. But these are some hard questions I'm going to ask you guys right now. And let me finish this and we'll finish off with this. I got to ask this hard question. Who really cares about you? Now think about this. Who really cares about you? Your mom, your dad, the chicken, the frog, the log, the dog, the cat, the bird, your neighbors, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your grandparents, all those people, and you're going, MT, they all care about me. And you're right. They care about you, but who's going to care for you? And they're going to care for you and about you when you're younger. But today, in today's society with both parents working full-time jobs and divorce rates over 50%, and there's a lot of single moms and single dads out there, it's hard for them to keep track. And if you have 3-4 kids, you got daycare and you got bills, you've got, your parents are getting older, there's a lot of stress out there on your parents and stuff like that if you're young. Well, guess what? They could be developing those same things. So if you're a young person watching this, start taking watch of what your parents are eating and what they're doing. And you got to really start trying to take care of them, care about them, because they care about you right now, right? But the bottom line is, as you get older, who cares for you? There's only one person that cares for you. Everybody knows it, and that is you. I have to care for me. You have to care for you. You've got to love yourself so much that if you want to live and live healthy, you can't depend on these corporations or your medical doctors or your friends or your family. You have to do it. And And you have to, that's why it's important to love yourself. You got to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. But it's so important. And I know I'm passionate about this, but who will be there later on in life to care for you? Are you going to depend on nurses, the nursing homes when you get older and as you grow older? I know I'm not. You know, those get expensive, and then where are you going to be? How much money are you going to make? The average American today, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. How are you going to make it when you're older? And that's why we start looking at these bad foods. You got to get out there. That's why when you shop at the grocery store, remember, stay to the outside. Once you get in that inside, man, sure, there's great. They all taste great, all those things. And it goes on from energy bars, all those different things, all the dehydrated fruits you think, the nuts and stuff like that. Think about all the salts and stuff like that go into those. I know I was there. I've been dealing with this for a long time. For now going on 13, 14 years. And I've went up and down, but I've tried to maintain. And you can do it too. But it's about getting rid of this visceral fat. If you've got a big belly, you know what? Feel how hard it is. It is all external fat. That visceral fat is what's killing you. And it's going to kill you. And that's what's going to suffocate your organs and your heart, from your kidneys to your liver, right? All that stuff to your gut. Your gut is one of the most things. And all your intestines and stuff like that. You know, you need all those things to make the right choices and be healthier and be smarter. You know, don't get older and have arthritis and stuff like that. Look at 55 years old. I don't have any arthritis, and I've had multiple knee surgeries and other surgeries, hips and stuff like that, and I can still go ride my bike. You see my swimming videos. I swim sometimes 48 to 60 laps. That's 120 to 96 legs. So if I can do it, you can do it. I got a long ways to go, and I hope you guys stay with me on my journey. But all I want to tell you guys is that the only person that really cares about you is you, okay? I can care about you, but I can't care for you. And I care about every one of you guys out there watching me. I hope you take it to heart, and turn your life around, because there are lifestyle changes. And if you want to know more about that, I would tell you guys, first of all, look towards the blood type diets and read that. Don't get hung up on saying A's are all vegetarians, because that's not true. I still eat chicken, turkey. It's not the beneficial, but it's neutral. I eat a lot more fish, and there's a lot more vegetables. One thing I miss, cashews. Love cashews. Can't have them though. Do I want them? Yeah. Can I eat them? Do I miss steak and potatoes? Darn right I do. I grew up in Minnesota. But look it. Only person that cares about me is me. I gotta care about me. All right. So anyways, that's enough for the night. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. I'm MT with MT's Daily, and this has been a hard one about heart disease. I hope it hits home, because I want to be around for a long time, and I hope you do too. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night.